Some guys might decide that it's a little too tough, or it's a little too hard, it's a little too demanding. It's Division I football! It's the Big 12! It ain't intramurals! You got 2 weeks after finals, you got a week at July 4th, and you got a week before camp starts. That's a month! That's probably more vacation than you guys get. And we're a little bummed out that we don't get 3 weeks? Go play intramurals, brother. Go play intramurals.
Welcome to Sports Trebuchet. Oh, no. Welcome to the Run Pod Option. I'm Marty.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Jeff.
Follow us at Sports Trebuchet. This may be kind of confusing on Twitter and Instagram. We have me, Marty, Kyle in here, the normal Sports Trebucheters, and then we got Jeff back into the studio because we're having a second show here. It's called the Run Pod Option. If you're a long-time listener, you may have heard it known as the Power of Y before. Not a bad name, but Run Pod Option.
Better name.
It slaps, I'd say. But I'm saying that because I came up with it, frankly, and I'm a narcissist.
And it slaps in 3 different ways.
It really does. It works in so many aspects. And no one does the Maryland Eye anymore, so this makes this more relevant.
All right, Matt Canada.
So today, God, does he have a job yet?
I don't know. I hope so.
I was at high school too.
I hope it's a Canadian football team.
He's gonna go down as like a misunderstood genius, but all he was just like he really loved motion. Really dug it. Really loved motion. So today's gonna be a all college football episode. We may have some new listeners that I may have pimped this podcast out to when Podcast Ain't Played Nobody kind of half folded. God rest Bill Connolly. See you at the crossroads, Bill. We're going to talk about the preseason top 25 for Phil Steele. We're going to do a game of over-under. Then we're going to go off maybe some playoff predictions, but we're also going to touch on a column that Kyle read up on that he's going to kind of quiz us and kind of inform us on what ESPN had to say about something. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and, for everyone that's not in this room, which is everybody else listening, I'm going to pull up the top 25 that Phil Steele for preseason. We'll just kind of get started. For what it's worth, what?
Last year's.
This is last year's?
Yeah.
You gave me this link.
Yeah.
Professional.
Do you think if I just changed, I didn't have to say 2019 Phil Steele, college football, preseason. Good catch, because we would have sounded like dummies, wouldn't we?
No worse than we sound right now.
True. That's true. This isn't going to show it, is it? This is to buy this stupid thing.
It was one of the links.
Cool.
Phil Steele products.
Okay, so these are best teams? So...
Yeah, that's
okay. All right. So we'll... Gross. We'll start from the bottom. Go ahead, and we'll stop whenever you disagree with someone maybe being in the top 25 or their position. Either way. All right?
Stop.
25, Virginia Tech.
Stop.
Okay. Do they go to a bowl this year? Because I'm not sure they do.
I'm not totally sure.
Didn't they finish 6 and 7 last year? Am I imagining that? I think they were dreadful.
They probably somehow finished 10 and 10 because they were so mediocre.
Finished 10 and 10. They played extra games.
Well, so the weird thing about Virginia Tech was that they've underperformed, right? And then they lost almost all their defense to either people getting kicked off the team and or injury.
Mm-hmm.
And they've also had, since then, more transfers leave. And UVA turns out to be a kind of decent team, which is a weird result.
Yeah.
They were 6 and 7. That was a good call.
I don't trust Brian Fuente.
I don't know if Brian works for Justin Fuente. Maybe it's like a younger brother.
I don't trust Brian Fuente.
I don't trust either. Is Brian Fuente an extra in the Night at the Roxbury?
Why am I thinking Brian Fuente?
I don't know. That's weird.
Fuck is
But
Brian
it's not that
Fuente?
weird. It's Fuente, right? How many times are there going to be a Fuente? we all know talent-wise, this is not a far-fetch, right?
No.
It's a former
I think
baseball player.
I think Fuente's
Fuentes.
a good coach. I just don't think that program. They're having what's happened to Texas after Mac Brown happened to them, where they're having to completely restart from a recruiting standpoint, I think, and a schematic standpoint.
Yeah, but I felt didn't they have a really good first or second year under him? Like
They had Justin
say, like-
Fields. Who was their no Justin Fields? It's the Georgia quarterback.
not was it?
They had the
was
dude
it
that played
Jackson?
tight end.
Oh, Logan Thomas.
Logan Thomas was there for his
Who
first
I always
year.
want to say Landry Jones because they both start with an L.
Yeah, it's all very confusing. There's so many players, y'all. So many players.
I've been watching this for too long.
I'd be happy to see him at 25, but I don't know how they were 6 and 7 last year in a really, really bad ACC.
I don't see how they're rated higher than UVA. As much as...
If you ask Bronco Mendenhall, they only had like 4 ACC players on their roster last
He
year.
said, yeah.
So if they have 10 now, you'd think for sure they're going to be a top 25.
The ACC media has UVA winning that side of the division, the Coastal.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like top 10 on some lists.
What the
Fringe.
fuck?
Yeah.
No.
Like
fucking-
top
Yeah,
15, top 10.
I mean, no way that's not happening, but there's no way that there's definitely a way people have done that and said that. There's no way that's happening,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know. The Coastal Division is fucked, man.
Yeah, because who else is...
Virginia Tech,
Pitt.
Yeah, Pitt won it last year at what?
Miami. Let's
7
see
and
whatever
5.
the fuck they're going to do.
Yeah, but if Miami's... Is
Wait,
Miami
see-
even on this list? Miami's not even on the top 25.
There.
They are.
They are? Am I missing it?
15.
Can we close those blinds? The glare in here is outrageous, y'all. This is why I close the blinds. Josh, on our other episodes, refuses to let me do this shit. And it's just... He's English. They don't get much sun.
They don't have windows where he's from.
All right, Virginia Tech at 25. Misfire, I don't think they go that high. Do y'all agree?
Agreed.
No.
Okay. Ideally, it'd be nice, though, because I like to see Virginia Tech be good. The same way I like to
Sure.
see Miami be good.
I had
Not
no.
great. I like to see Miami good.
Okay, college football is usually better
When
if
Miami
Miami
is
is good.
Agreed.
You know,
But see, it's so weird because, like, I agree. But I don't know if it's because back then college football was so fun and innocent to me at that time. And Miami's living on the swagger of a generation beforehand.
they're fun to hate, and anytime.
Yeah,
that
they're
you
good baddies. They're great heels.
Anytime that you can have a possible revisit of the seventh floor boys. I mean,
Yeah, and you know, it's kind of funny too because the contrast between Mark Richt as a person versus Miami as a program is almost like complete opposites. Because Jimmy Jones had some nuts in him, so like that's weird to say. He had a little bit of crazy in him, so it kind of played. But like Mark Richt's like this good Christian,
Good old boy,
Christian
yeah.
man who's just like trying to wrangle Miami's
let's see what Manny Diaz
turnover
I was
chain.
gonna
Manny
say,
Diaz is
Manny
perfect for that
Diaz is
program.
embracing it.
All right, so 24 Mississippi State, I think, is just right.
Yep.
I love Moorhead, so I think they'll be just fine. And they're in a
Of course
tough.
you do.
Yeah, I mean,
And he took over the play calling again.
good. And he's got his quarterback from Penn State that just transferred in too.
Yep.
Iowa at 23. How? But
They always find a way to be there, and
it probably plays to how poor as a strength and conference the Big Ten is. Don't you agree, Jeff?
The West, yeah. Especially the fact that they put what? They had 2 tight ends go in the first round.
they probably have 8 more tight
And they
ends sitting
have
behind.
they have a
their
first round
three.
left tackle and another first round lineman. So they just continue to crank out underrated guys who become good players and then
I
go 8
think
and
their
4.
line is supposed to be pretty solid again this year.
And then Kirk
There's-
Ferentz gets another contract extension.
They are. I don't have a good example. Fuck that. Moving on. 22 is Stanford.
I don't trust the Pac-12 in general.
We'll cover that a little bit later too. 'Cause
Okay.
It's something on the over/under that I wanted to talk about.
Stanford.
No Bryce Love.
If you watched any Stanford last year, yeah, Bryce Love was horrible
Hurt.
because they didn't have anything else, right?
Yeah.
But like all Stanford made plays on was deep
to
passes.
Whiteside.
Yeah, to Arcega Whiteside,
Yep.
and he's gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, unless they can redo what I was doing. But it's funny too because those 2 types of offenses, Iowa and Stanford, that are so similar, 22-23 is exactly where they belong in this whole group. And number 13, I got a problem with, which we'll talk later.
Well, I'm gonna say something right now. I have an issue with that, and no Syracuse on there.
No Syracuse on this list?
Nope.
Yeah, but we'll see how up you are on them on over and under.
Okay.
We'll see. All right, 21, Iowa State. Interesting, because I think Iowa State probably places third in the Big 12 this year.
Yeah, I could see them doing that. They could be anywhere between there and like 10. I think that's a. I don't hate that pick at 21. I think that's a conservative pick for them.
Yeah, I think worst case, if I was an Iowa State fan, I'd hope we finish at 21 at the worst, with the potential you have with Brock Purdy and everybody else, and Matt Campbell.
I'll say at 21, you're probably watching Matt Campbell get another coaching job. Or close.
Here's another stupid thing. I hear Brock Purdy. I want to say Bryce Petty.
Well, his brother's got an even crazier name. Do you know what his brother's name is? It is
Jock Purdy.
It's Proc Birdie.
It's weird. He has a different last name.
It's Chubba.
Chubba Purdy.
Chubba Purdy. Chubba. Chubba Purdy.
Oh my God! What backwoods?
Yeah, where are they from?
Louisiana
That's
colony.
honestly a great. There's no telling, but Chubba Purdy is better than John David Booty and Don't At Me, because it's
not better than Jim Bob Cooper.
You know John David Booty's cousin is playing Major Booty.
Yeah, oh no, I totally forgot about Major Booty.
I think he's either a freshman or he's a senior recruit right now. Is he on LSU? Major Booty?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's even better.
He's been getting that Major Booty.
God.
Oh, God.
Just wait.
It's funny because like
every one of their games is going to have to be TV 14.
Yeah. Well, it's especially when they're. What if they played on the same team? It's just Purdy Booty.
Next to each other on the bench.
TVMA.
Iowa State. I'd like to see them place higher, just for the sake of parity in the Big 12. Number 20, Penn State. No chance in hell.
I do have a problem there. I think they're too low.
You think they'll be higher?
Yeah.
After leaving without Tracy McSorley.
They have recruited like gangbusters. They've actually recruited almost as well as Ohio State, and they're like really loaded, really athletic. But you're right, the quarterback thing and having James Potato Franklin as your coach.
Yeah. Well, he said himself that they weren't an elite team last year, which is why they lost, right?
But I still think they won.
Good reason to not lose.
Yeah.
To not win.
Well, and they lost to Ohio State, right? Wasn't it that after that game, maybe, or maybe Michigan?
And they lost to, I think, Kentucky in their bowl game, so they kind of really fell off. At the
So
end
I think Penn State's the new Joe Flacco, and are they an elite program this year? And you're saying yes?
I don't think they're going to be elite, but I think they'll probably finish somewhere in the high, like low teens.
Do you think they finish second or first in the East for the Big Ten?
I think they'll finish third.
Which is crazy how strong.
Mm-hmm. Third overall or third in the side?
They'll finish third in the East again.
Yeah. But they'll probably have, as a result, the third or fourth best record in the Big Ten.
They'll
overall.
Probably finish 10-2 and lose to the top two teams.
Yeah.
You brought up an interesting team in Kentucky. What?
Also not on here.
Not surprising. I think they lost a lot. As far as they almost felt like that damn team that like Kansas with Todd Reesing. You know how they were really good for a year, and last year they rode.
Well, Rutgers with Ray Rice.
Yeah, and they rode the Snell train. They lost Josh Allen on defense. They lost a lot. What do you think their fall off is going to be?
So. That's the best team Mark Stoops has ever had, so no one's ever had to see him replenish the pantry necessarily right afterwards. Right. I'm sure they're going to be okay, but they're not going to be what they were last year. No. And it's not going to be their fault because they're going to be forced to be more balanced. Their defense is probably not going to be as good.
Yeah.
But even if they're 80% on either side, in the SEC, that's a third place in the East finish, but I think it's probably good enough to be a top 40 or top 45 program still. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which I'd welcome. I like seeing basketball schools do good in football, and vice versa sometimes.
Sure.
Unless it's Duke or UNC.
Yeah, fuck Duke.
Nebraska at 19.
I think that's too high.
Riding the frost train.
Show me something.
Nebraska fans are they're oh my gosh.
Nebraska fans are extremely hard to deal with. But Martinez is another year under my quarterback.
And he's really good. He's really good.
Really, really good. And Scott Frost just brought in that quarterback guru coach too, right? Because the guy that was with him at UCF, he might have been there the whole time, but he just was working with a true freshman before.
Here's the thing. I can't take them seriously and have them above a Wisconsin who always finds their fucking way into the top 25, and they're not on this list. And
It's crazy. I didn't even notice Wisconsin being gone.
Yeah.
They're always there. They always find a way into the top 25. Same with their fucking basketball team.
Yeah.
They always make it in. Nebraska was not good last year.
I don't think Nebraska is going to end up being in the top 25 at the end of the year, and I don't think it's going to be because they're bad. I think it's going to be because the Big West overall has elevated, and I think as a result, did I say the Big West?
Yeah.
I looked at Big Ten West, and I just saw Big West.
The Big West.
I want the Big West to elevate too.
I like that.
So the Big Ten West,
fucking Pacific.
the same way that, and it may be that they're actually all bad, but the same way that the ACC last year was so tight between everybody that wasn't Clemson and Syracuse, really, in terms of record, I think it's going to happen in the West too. But it's not necessarily going to be because they're great or good, but because Minnesota's just good enough to beat anybody in their division. Nebraska's good enough to beat anybody in their division. Purdue is, Wisconsin is, Northwestern is, Illinois is not.
Northwestern.
Iowa is.
It is going to be really interesting. You're right, because
Northwestern can't get people to their.
I think all those teams could probably go to the Pac-12 and get a top 3 finish in the West right now, minus Illinois.
Well, you remember last year Northwestern won the Big Ten West with 2 games left.
Yeah, and it's because it's just they're knocking each other out, right? Constantly.
Northwestern's going to eliminate all phones in the stadium and confiscate them.
He's an idiot for that.
Did you see that?
No, does he really say that, Pat Fitzgerald?
Pat Fitzgerald, yeah, they asked him why attendance was down, and he said it's because of these, and he pulled out his
Has there ever been a younger-looking 85-year-ld than Pat Fitzgerald? Because I feel like
He's only like 45.
I know.
He's just been there like 15 years.
Well, that, and also that he is the most old school coach. I feel like there is.
Yep.
He hates unions. Shocker. Just like the olds.
He's a white linebacker.
Yeah, he's everything people thought Dick Butkus was going to be, but as a coach. Moving on. Do you have anything else in Nebraska?
No.
I think
they could be this good, but I don't think they will be.
I think they're a year away from really being a contender in the Big Ten as a champion.
It's a lot of Scott Frost in 2 years to.
They've recruited really well, but their defense and offensive line was atrocious. Like, it's going to take a year or two to build that.
And I think there's and just in that same breath, he's probably never come in at a worse time for Big Ten West because of how strong the other teams are in terms of being coached just well. Not necessarily great coaches, but like they're all coached well. Braum does what he does well. PJ Fleck does what he does well. Ferentz, he's been there 22 years now, 21 years.
Yeah.
Does it well.
Sparing everybody to death with
just absolutely.
But just consistently
bludgeoning you with power every day.
just consistently
power
above
every fucking play.
Consistently above average.
Yeah.
I think Auburn at 18 is probably realistic.
Good.
Yeah.
A&M at 17 feels good, but I tell you that there's probably Aggies that are upset because they think they should be top 10. They're the Nebraska of the SEC. Except that they never won, really. Like the Nebraska.
Kellen Mond still there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're going to be good. It's just going to be the same thing, except it's the SEC West.
Yep.
They're just going to have they win the Big 12, or at least come really close to winning it without issue. And I don't think it's because the Big 12 is weak, but that there's more off games. There's more,
and the top has kind of regressed to has fallen down. The
Yeah.
ceiling has fallen down in the Big 12 where, I numbered 5 right there. Oklahoma, I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year.
yeah, that's a Jalen Hurts issue, I think.
Yeah.
Let's speed through. Washington at 16, yes.
Right.
Miami at 15,
Yeah.
yes.
Seems ambitious.
Washington at 16 it's that whole by default because they're going to rack up wins in the Pac-12.
Because they get to play Oregon State.
And they have Jay Eason, who I think is going to start this
yeah.
year, the old
Yeah.
number 1 recruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that got out by Jake Fromm, right?
Yep.
And hopefully he doesn't end up being Hopefully they can develop him as a good quarterback because what's his face last year was so fucking bad.
He just never grew after his freshman year.
Yeah.
Browning.
Yeah.
He was a phenom, and then he just
flatlined. Plateaued. TCU at 14. I'm sorry, Miami at 15. Best case scenario, I think that's right.
Feels a little ambitious.
I think it's a little ambitious.
With their quarterback issues.
Yeah.
Every one of these teams basically have a name brand, which I don't think is an accident by Phil Steele.
He knows where the bread is buttered.
Right. TCU at 14 is really ambitious, I think.
They've got like 15 quarterbacks on their roster.
I don't know how you can see the. I don't know how you see the Cheez-It Bowl and see that team has what it takes to
the
get
greatest game that's ever been played.
Yeah, I don't see it. And the same thing with Michigan State.
I think that they have an Ohio State transfer though as their new quarterback.
TCU does.
Yeah. I'll have to look that up.
I think you're right. I don't think he was a really good player though.
Well, if you still. I'm trying to think of the TCU. So when Dykes left and it became just Cumbie as the offensive coordinator, it dropped off a little bit. But I think part of that was because of them also losing a whole lot of talent in offense. If they can even do half of that offense that they had, then 14 is right because their defense is always going to be there to play.
Mm-hmm.
So they have both Matthew Baldwin, who's a transfer from Ohio State. They also have Kansas State's old quarterback, Alex Delton.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got...
That's their tight end, you mean?
So they've got guys that we'll see what they do, you know. And Gary Patterson's a good coach.
He's a great defensive coach, and Cumbie's a good offensive coach. But I don't think Cumbie. I think he finds players to try to fit scheme versus fitting the scheme to the players, and that's probably why last year was so poor in some games because he put in a new quarterback and didn't change the playbook, and they just suffered. Mm-hmm. Michigan State at 13. Explain to me how, Jeff, please.
They have probably the best defense in the Big Ten. 17 returning starters.
Holy shit.
On the flip side, they lost their best running back and their best receiver, and their quarterback was trash.
17 returning starters on defense? That's amazing.
No, I just mean overall. So, like, they bring a
No
lot.
wonder they're number one.
Phil Steele loves that, like, you know, those teams where it was like, oh, they return everyone, so they're just going to be better.
Returning production, right?
Yeah.
That's what happened with Syracuse basketball last year. They brought back everybody, and they're
team.
like, we're going to be great. And then they were just the same.
Watch out for that Montana team. All five of them, they're seniors. They grew together. It's just like that.
Yeah, it's like you're not adding anything. You're not taking anything away. You're looking at the same thing as the year before.
Does Michigan State ever do anything this year more than just spoil one team season?
I don't think so because they were terrible on offense, and all they did was they shuffled the deck chairs. They literally just reassigned every offensive coach to a different position. They're still running the same offense they ran 10 years ago, and it's just...
But then you got the running backs guy trying to coach up
right, but like
even
Michigan realized like it's time to stop just trying to run a power offense. Like it's time to move.
Yeah.
And they still have not grasped that, so...
Yeah, at this point, it's so... I wonder if that's why teams like Iowa are consistently successful, though, too, because it's just your brand. Mm-hmm. So you know that there's a 4-star or a 3-star kid somewhere that knows that he doesn't have elite talent, but he wants to play in a certain type of system, and that's what attracts it to him. Mm-hmm. Like if you're an undersized pass rusher, TCU is on your list, hopefully at the very beginning, because it's all that they produce that in spades. Oregon at 12.
Yeah, what do you guys think about this?
I think they had the potential to be the best team in that division or that league.
They really flopped at the end of last year.
Yeah, they were incredibly underwhelming last year.
Especially Herbert.
I think they'll play like a top 25 team most of the season. But I think they probably do what seems to be par for most Pac-12 teams, which is lose 2 games they shouldn't. Mm-hmm. You know, losing
Colorado
or Arizona State.
Yeah, didn't they lose to one of them?
Yeah, they lost to Arizona.
Like they got blown out by Arizona.
At Arizona, maybe.
Yeah.
Right after they beat Stanford, maybe, or something like that.
Finding a way to go and lose to Cal or something like that.
Yeah, it's. I want Oregon to be good again because
it's fun.
They were a fun team to fill the void when USC fell off, and I think they can still be like that.
Well, USC was a fun team to hate, but
especially when they were good.
Yes.
Who?
But Oregon, I never really hated. I thought they were fun.
Yeah, I agree. And plus, they did so much with their. So they're all right. So here's Oregon's schedule: home against. I'm sorry, it's a neutral site game. Auburn, Nevada, which is not hard, but it's not easy.
Got the ghost of Kaepernick.
The ghost of Kaepernick's gonna be there. Montana Grizzlies, that's a win. Even though it's probably gonna be no, it's not gonna be a tough one. It's in Autzen. At Stanford, home against Cal, not a layup because Cal's all
defense is salty. Yeah.
Home against Colorado, at Washington, that's your loss probably. Home against Washington State, there's another loss possibly.
There's
at
another
USC,
team missing from that list, Washington State.
yeah.
So they're changing people out, but
If they could, I was going to say something really insensitive. The quarterback question is what I have. I was going to say, but Mike Leach can do anything with anybody. I just don't know. I think he's hit the ceiling at Washington State already. I don't know how he gets back to it. And I think the same thing happened at Tech.
Yeah.
When he had that incredible season with Graham Harrell and them, and then just kind of it didn't
plateaued.
Yeah, you find that champion for your team, and then you just try to get back to there, and you're starting to get measured by that, and it's just that's where Mike Leach gets critical, because then it's like, oh, he's not quirky, he's just a weird asshole once he starts losing. Home against Arizona, at Arizona State, Oregon State, they lose 3 games somewhere in there.
The Auburn game is going to be a tough one.
Auburn. They played last year, too, didn't they? Didn't they lead off the season and Auburn hammered them?
That was Auburn, Washington.
Yes, that was.
Yeah.
So Auburn's probably going to... I hope they both lose that game. If that's a possibility, I'm cool with that.
Auburn's strength is in their lines, and Oregon's lines, I was reading, were like dreadful last year. So
yeah, well, and back when Chip Kelly was there, the benefit that he did, the same way Mike Leach had, his offensive linemen have like 5 feet between them sometimes in plays. Is those splitting their offense and being able to use those gaps effectively. Oregon has a really good running back that I can't remember his name now. Last name Benjamin, I think. That can help if you can start getting gaps the way those old successful Oregon teams did with LaMichael and all those guys. The Michael.
The Michael and the Garrett.
Texas at 11. Sure, I guess.
Sure?
Terry Bradshaw doesn't seem to think so.
Baker Mayfield doesn't seem to think so either.
Yeah, but he's bitter about
He's got so much.
I don't understand why he's still.
That's what fuels him.
He really does have a lot of testosterone. So much
testosterone.
Florida at 10 is interesting because I think it's probably going to be higher.
You think they'll finish higher?
I think they might end up going through and having. I think at 10-2 Florida, and that only loss coming in the SEC championship and Georgia earlier in the season. That assumes that Georgia loses 2 games.
Yeah.
But, which is possible. But I think Florida, they only lose right now. Every time I think about it, I get less confident. But Mullen's really good. I think he wins the East, and they lose. Whether that's 10 or whether that ends up as a season where you're 10-3 or 9-4 or whatever after the conference championship. I think they'll probably be top 10 analytically. I bet they're going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Let's look at schedules, see what they look like.
Yeah, Florida's kind of weird because I think they lost quite a bit. Like they had some players drafted, some leave.
Which might not have been a bad thing for Dan, honestly.
But their recruiting class, their newest one they brought in, I think they've had 3 or 4 of the top players all leave. There's been a lot of issues and a lot of... They're getting kind of back to like the Urban Meyer recruiting. And it's not going well for
so you got to wonder if it's the coach or the school at this point. Well, we know with Urban it's the coach, but maybe the school just attracts.
Man. So Florida, their schedule, they go Miami to start off.
Nice.
They start against the Hurricanes.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that because the ACC network is trying to make their network something?
Is it on Florida? Or is it a neutral site?
I have no idea. It doesn't tell. I'm looking at just Google. Then they go Tennessee Martin, which will win. At Kentucky, home against Tennessee, home against Towson. Ew. Home against Auburn. God, all they do is play home games early, apparently. At LSU, at South Carolina, home against Georgia, home against Vandy, at Missouri, home against Florida State.
Interesting.
Georgia, on the other hand, goes at Vandy to start off, home against Murray State, home against Arkansas State, home against Notre Dame.
Under the lights.
There you go. At Tennessee, home against South Carolina, home against Kentucky, at Florida, home against Missouri, at Auburn, home against Texas A&M, at Georgia Tech.
Okay, so there's a potential there for Georgia to lose at Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that.
They could, yeah.
And Notre Dame might be really good with Book and company.
Mm-hmm.
They will.
You never know. A&M could shock them late in the season.
They're going to be really close, those two teams.
It's going to be interesting. Florida at 10 feels right for me, personally.
You don't know what Tennessee's going to be.
No, probably bad.
Second-
Because I think they're still in progress.
Second year under Pruitt, but they brought in a pretty good recruiting class again.
Didn't they beat Georgia last year? Who did they beat? Did they upset someone big at the end of the year?
Was it Auburn?
Yeah, it was Auburn at the end of the year.
Because it almost cost Malzahn his job.
Yeah,
Almost called Galzahn.
Then you got an extension. I love these agents. I want to be a football agent.
Seriously, fucking give me a buy.
Sexton? Is that his name? The guy that's the agent for every coach.
Here's a quick side note. At our jobs right now, without giving away where we work or what we do, what do you think your buyout should be? Like realistically, if they didn't have at will, if it wasn't an at will state and they had to fire you, what do you think is the minimum they should at least pay you to leave? I think Kyle might have the highest, just because we know what vertical he's in, right? We know where he's going. I think Kyle's like 30,000.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think I get anything.
I'll
probably get lunch,
like a pizza and a case of beer on the way.
Yeah, you know what? They're big fans of buying pizza for us. So that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe some beer and a nice pat on the ass. I don't know.
And a good luck future endeavor. Notre Dame, number 9.
Feels right.
Feels right.
Yeah.
Number 8, Utah.
Wow.
We can only hope. If Utah could finally just be really, really
I want
good.
that. That'd be fun.
I do too.
That'd be fun in the Pac-12.
Especially if it elevates the Pac-12.
Their defense has been really good the last couple of years, like salty good.
That's
right?
their thing, right? Yeah, they're the they are in a lot of ways. I feel like almost the Iowa of the West, in that their offenses look like they should be fancy and they never really are, and then their defenses are what keeps them in a lot of games. But I don't know if they could beat Ohio State by 40 points 2 years ago like Iowa did though.
I don't know what that was.
That was insane. That's what it was. So Utah at 8, wishful thinking, but I think it's.
But I want to believe that wish.
I want to believe it.
So they have to have a great season, maybe undefeated to get that high.
I think they'd have to be I think they could.
Or one loss.
I think they could do it with 10 wins, but they'd have to depend on everybody on their schedule also being really good.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think that if Utah's that high, I don't think you have this many teams in the Pac-12 in the top
high.
5.
No, you're right.
I think that'd be the only way. I agree. Yeah, you mean like there's a whole bunch of 9-win Pac-12 teams that they've.
Yeah.
So maybe at 8 is what happens when they slip at the end of the year and they win a conference, but maybe they're at 15 before that. LSU at 7, whatever, man.
It just feels boring and lazy, and I don't. That's what.
Did you know that they're getting a new offense this year? I know
They're going spread and shred.
Yeah. They're.
They brought in someone from the Saints.
Did they really?
Yeah, one of the Saints offensive
Drew
coaches.
Brees.
It's actually Sean Payton. He's doing double duty.
He's got a mustache.
He's trying to own the city of New Orleans.
He's got a mustache on like Bobby Valentine did when he tried to come out of the.
It's Sean Payton with an SHAWN, and he's just like, I don't know, that's weird.
You remember Bobby Valentine with the mustache?
Bobby Valentine,
the old Mets head.
Yeah, he tried to come out of the dugout after he got ejected.
After he got ejected, but he had a fake mustache on and some sunglasses.
It's trash.
I know we spent a lot of time on this list so far, so let's knock this out. Ohio State 6,
probably
too low.
Yeah.
If only because them or Michigan are going to flip flop. I think Michigan at 3 feels okay. We might get more on that on another episode because you're going to be the Michigan expert. 4 for Georgia.
Feels too high.
It does. But I don't know if I'm waiting.
SEC love.
But you know what, dude? I feel like we kept waiting for the other shoe to drop for Alabama, and it's never happened. And I'm wondering if Georgia's going to be that in the East. And they're each going to be a guaranteed loss for the other one. Like, if that's just what we're going to do into infinitum, I don't know how I'm going to live with myself.
What does Alabama's schedule look like?
Well, there's two things on Georgia. They have recruited the number one class, I think, 2 years in a row under Smart. So even though they lost a ton, they're loaded. And then this is a weird question they asked, but at the SEC Media Days, they were asking all the players who the most physical team is, and even the Alabama guys said Georgia.
Really?
Yeah. So
That's because Kirby.
he's like Saban 2.0.
Do you feel like, though, just on appearances, that out of the two, Kirby would be more likely to supply PEDs to his players? He looks like a PED pusher.
The deer antler spray, you mean?
Deer antler spray, exactly.
They both do it. You see those, even those Alabama guys, they go in there and it's like a fucking factory. I mean, I don't think they need to cheat anymore. I think you can basically just... Nick Saban could walk into a high school and the 5-stars would be like,
Yeah.
Yeah, he just sends out.
I don't think
he just sends out a piece of paper with the script A on it.
I think he could coach. Yeah, I think he could coach a all-senior... You know what? He could take an all-senior, all-star team of, let's say, Texas high school stars. So it's a lot of really good talent. Florida, too, either one. Or Cal. And he takes all the seniors in a high school, puts them in the Sun Belt, and I don't think he wins the Sun Belt, but I think he goes bowl eligible.
Might win the Big East.
I think he wins the FCS. Like handedly. Alabama number 1, Clemson number 2.
So
I'd probably argue that should be flip-flop.
yeah.
I could
Until
make that
proven
argument.
otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Clemson's returning a lot of players from a team, a lot of players from an offense that just lit the fuck out of Alabama.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people I heard blaming the Alabama collapse on the analyst issue that Alabama has, which is that they have coaches in and out and left and right.
Yeah.
Which I give some credence to, because I do think that it probably hurts any team to have a majority of your analytics and or prep staff looking for other jobs.
But it happened with their coaches, too. I think they lost like 9 out of their... They have 12 coaches. They have a lot of them
At some
left.
point, the year is 2028. Every coach in NCAA Division I has at some point worked for Nick Saban.
Tell you what, Alabama has a trash schedule. That might keep him at number 1.
For them to lose, so they're going to have to get knocked out. And they're probably going to have to get knocked out twice.
Yeah.
Because if they start number 1...
Dude, look at this. This is a trash schedule. First game, Duke. Second game...
Duke coaches good quarterbacks. They might be better with what's-his-face.
Fuck Daniel Jones.
New Mexico State.
Trash.
At South Carolina, they're
Trash.
going to win.
New Mexico State.
Isn't that Bob Davie?
Yeah.
No. I love it.
Alabama's going to crush them.
Maybe the ghost of Chucky Keaton can come back. Remember Chucky Keaton?
That was
almost beat-
UTEP, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't UTEP. It was definitely either New Mexico State. It was not UNLV.
No, UTEP.
Where
Didn't he play for
You
UTEP?
put the emphasis on the wrong
UTEP.
UTEP.
It's my native.
That's the most Michigan thing, yeah. Oh, it's UTEP. No, Chucky Keaton played for her. I'm confusing him with Utah State. It was Utah State. It was one of those, the four corners and all that.
Fourth game, Southern Miss. Then
Average.
home against Ole Miss. Win that. At A&M.
Toss. That could be a good
It
game.
could be a good game.
At A&M might be their only opportunity for a loss in the regular season.
I don't know. Home against Tennessee, they're going to crush them. Home against Arkansas. Arkansas is not ready. Home against LSU. I don't think that LSU gets them
They can't get over the hump.
in Bama.
They're like Michigan and Ohio State now.
Yeah.
At Mississippi State, I don't think that that's going to result in a loss for Alabama. Home against Western Carolina, because the SEC can't get away from scheduling a shit team second week left in the season. And then at Auburn is their last game. That could be a trap. That's a dangerous game for them.
Yeah.
But also could be
Auburn.
Malzahn trying to keep his job, so you have that danger card.
But, I mean, everybody talks about how great how great the SEC is. They did not schedule an out-of-conference game.
All right, so I'm not going to get in that rabbit hole because I feel like that's been a 10-year topic. But
well, at least the other teams are scheduling out of conference games. I mean,
I agree that
Florida's going and playing
finally leaving the state of
Miami
Florida.
in the first game.
and Florida State, but that's also because they're Florida.
They still haven't left Florida.
Georgia's playing Notre Dame.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, so there's your counterpoint. I think you replace Duke with.
Aren't they playing Texas or USC in a few years? Aren't there some
fine.
mega
I think
games?
so.
And that's
it might be
nice.
Texas.
You know, I think that if you're at that level, you should try to schedule another elite team. This is garbage. I mean, not even like a second tier team is in here. You got Duke, who's at the bottom of the ACC, and New Mexico State, who's a whatever.
We went 3-9.
You've got Southern Miss, who's going to get absolutely murdered by them.
It's a paycheck game.
You've got
It's also a recruiting.
yeah,
game.
and then you've got Western Carolina. I mean, your best
That's a paycheck game.
The best team that you have on there is Duke.
That's what you do, right? You spend $200,000 to go hammer some team so that you can go win $10 million in endorsement deals as a university when you win the championship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hate it, right? We all hate it, but it's totally understandable.
Yeah, but you see teams like Oklahoma going and playing Ohio State in a little series. You got Texas going and playing teams.
That's because they have to convince the media and who's actually voting on these polls.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alabama doesn't.
Yeah.
Oklahoma doesn't have the best coach in the world.
This schedule really pisses me off.
It's a pageantry.
All right. That was...
And they're not going to get hurt, by strength of schedule at all.
Nope.
It's an embarrassment.
It is.
All of this. Let's just quit now. You know what? This is the end of the
Florida
podcast.
Florida playing two FCS teams also is really obnoxious.
Florida is?
Yes.
And also, but they're also scheduling Florida State and Miami, you said.
Yeah, but don't they penalize for more than one FCS game now?
Yeah, it doesn't count towards your schedule. So you've got Tennessee,
they'll
Martin, and
lose a win.
Towson.
Do they lose
So
a
one of
win
them's just
then?
one.
It won't count towards
Eligibility.
Eligibility.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
I just don't know why you'd schedule two FCS.
Well, I mean, things are done out like 10 years in advance now.
Yeah.
Right. That's also the difficult part because,
10 years
Georgia
ago,
Pretty
maybe
easy to avoid.
Georgia probably made that deal with Notre Dame when Notre Dame was either really, really good or really bad.
Yeah.
All right.
Pretty easy to know who's the FCS team. Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Phil Steele. You know what? You're talking to a Michigan man here, brother.
No, well,
So-
yeah, but they knew that they didn't schedule two App States.
They did.
for
We
the
played
same
them
year.
again.
Did y'all play them again?
Yeah, in like 2011, we beat the shit out of them.
No, I hope you
Beat
did
the
because
fuck
they.
out of them.
Yeah, that is corned lover right there.
Yeah, it was.
All right, let's play a game of over under. So, if y'all have any, feel free to jump
I
in.
got a couple.
Okay, I'm going to start with something just really simple. Wins for Syracuse football this year set at 6.5. I'm setting up these numbers. I made up all these numbers, by the way.
I think over.
Over
I think
6.5. 8 wins.
Less than last year.
Okay.
I
I think a step back is expected.
Yeah, I
right?
think 10 wins was a really high ceiling, and they won a lot of close games. I think that they're still set up to win a lot of close games because they do still have most of their pass rush back. They only lost one guy off their defensive line. They've got their entire secondary back. I think that they're going to hurt a little bit losing Dungy in different ways because he was just a winner.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so hard-nosed. But DeVito is a better quarterback than Dungy. And he's got weapons. He's got basically every receiver is back. They've got basically every running back. The offensive line is in a shift, but they do have... Actually, I saw something on Troy Nunes today that said that they're actually maybe in the top 3 units in the ACC as far as an offensive line, because even though they've lost a lot of players, the guys that they have coming in still have more starting,
more
actual starts than a lot of the teams below them. So they have experience. They brought in an offensive tackle from South Alabama.
But did he sleep in Dino Babers' basement and was married to his daughter?
No, he was not. Amazingly enough. Coda Martin was fucking good for him.
You know what? And here's the thing. And I feel like with a schedule like yours where you're scheduling powerhouses like at Liberty and against Holy Cross, this is really interesting.
Is Liberty the Reverend?
Yeah.
Yes.
Liberty is... Oh, you Freeze is going to beat y'all, dude. Freeze is going to end up beating Syracuse.
I'm a little worried about that game. It's on the road too.
And they're Liberty's D1 now, right?
Yeah.
And with the history of Ernie Davis,
quarterback.
and with the history of Ernie Davis, going to a town called Lynchburg is very, very risky.
Actually, one of our old recruits, who actually went to high school with our starting running back from Gastonia, Monil, his high school running buddy, Robert Washington, he was a 4-star coming out. I was real pumped about him. He shunned us at the end. I forgot, or he may have gone to like UNC or something like that.
I hope it was Liberty.
Now he's on Liberty. he's on Liberty. No, I think that Syracuse is in a position where they're trying to get those kind of wins and trying to build up their. I think that, but then they scheduled a team like Maryland at Maryland.
Right.
So
they beat Texas.
New coach.
And so the answer's over then.
I think it's over. I think they get 8, and that's with a bowl win.
All right, Jeff, over or under?
Over.
So Kyle and Jeff have over. I'm keeping these, by the way, keeping score.
Okay.
For mine, at least. Wins for Michigan this year, set at 10.5.
Gotta look at your schedule. That's a gangbusters year.
Under.
Yeah. Even with this is including bowl games.
I think they get to 10.
You think they finished regular season 9 and missed the... Mm-hmm. Oh, you think they play Florida again in the fucking Outback Bowl?
Hopefully not.
Let's look at their schedule. So
they start off
Middle Tennessee,
which will be a win. Then they play Army, who's
which is
who knows? Right?
Yeah, at Wisconsin.
Yep, and then Notre Dame at home.
Right? No, Rutgers next.
Okay, yeah, Rutgers.
Then
70 points.
Then home against Iowa, at Illinois, at Penn State.
Yeah.
Home against Notre Dame. At Maryland, home against Michigan State,
home against
Indiana,
Michigan State's huge.
Home against Ohio State.
Yeah. I'm really worried about...
Body blow for Michigan State going into Ohio State?
Yeah, and that Wisconsin game early, playing at Camp Randall fucking sucks. But
didn't Wisconsin might be starting a true freshman too, right? Mm-hmm. That 4-star kid they got.
But they still have Jonathan Taylor and 15 All-American offensive linemen.
Or as Solid Verbal would say, Jonathan Taylor tailback. So I love that. Yeah. All right, so Kyle, over or under?
Gabe Karimi's there again.
He might be.
Over under 10.5.
Oh, I'm going to say under.
You negative Nancy's. All right.
I don't see them getting 11 wins out of that.
All right, so earlier, it might have been today.
Well, you know what? No. I don't think they beat Ohio State. I think they lose to Notre Dame.
So yesterday, Colorado head coach Mel Tucker insinuated that the SEC schools and the fans were racist. The former Georgia defensive coordinator mentioned Demetrius Roberts, who's at Cal, as evidence. He said, quote, "We've had so much success there because a lot of these young black men won out. I saw this when I was at Georgia with Demetrius Roberts, and these recruits are really beginning to understand the dark history of some of these SEC schools, and they're opting to go out west for a more inclusive experience." So, not really, we can talk about the merits of his statement if you want to, but my over-under is how many of the SEC teams have a history of racism, and the over-under is set at 13.5.
There's 14 teams in the league. Over.
Over? Has Vanderbilt?
It's in Tennessee, man. And it's also kind of an elitist school.
Yeah.
Missouri, definitely. They had riots not just a couple years ago.
And they have a lot of problems with their school.
A&M, yeah.
Even like your A&M.
A&M, definitely. South Carolina, almost for sure.
Yeah. Florida, probably. Florida might be the toss-up.
Florida might be actually the...
Florida might be the toss-up.
Yeah. Right.
Tennessee, definitely.
LSU.
I mean, look where it is.
Ole Miss has more Confederate flags per capita.
Running records.
Yeah. They embody
right there.
They just changed that 2 years ago.
Yeah. Let's see. Kentucky is... Kentucky.
Kentucky, for sure. But... Yeah, Kentucky for sure. I didn't have a good butt.
Yeah. Arkansas, Georgia, Mississippi State. I mean,
So you're saying over 13.5. It's basically just saying, like, are we surprised at all that there's a history of racial tension in the South?
No.
Right? Like, that's a story as old as time, right? As old as America, at
It's
least.
just interesting that he brought it up, you know?
I don't know why I'm recording you saying it was over. Like, I'm going to be able to check that at the end of the season.
You're gonna call up fan bases.
I think it's interesting he says that. And honestly, I know he's right. I don't know if he is right about
people wanting to move schools and go out west.
Players caring that much.
Agreed.
Especially when you have, in the SEC, as far as a conference, the best path to the NFL, right?
It's a good game, a championship game.
Right. Like, you can be on a pretty average Mississippi State team, but be a baller like Montez Sweat and get eyes on you because you were playing against Alabama and all those other teams.
And let's really break it down. This is more fan bases that we're going to be talking about. Because they're the ones that are going to be saying things that are extremely, racist. And let's say that you're Alabama and you're not going to hear as much. You're going to hear it from other fan bases, not going to hear it from your own, because you're winning, and winning solves everything.
The South also has a very long history of fraternities are a much bigger deal, I feel like, in the South than in the North, right? And those institutions, by design, were, I don't know if this is a word, but segregatorial in their design.
Yep.
Right?
I can 100% vouch for that because I went to an SEC school.
Well, and you don't have to look any further than the fact that where are the black collegiate universities and their conferences based out of?
The Southwest, or the Texas and the Southeast.
Right. It's that is it, right? That's your SWAC. That's MEAC. They're all right there for a reason, right? It's not by accident. They just decided to pick the hottest fucking weather. For them being fucking, they didn't really like the Gulf Coast.
It's...
I think that'd be a cool conversation. I'm really interested to see if Mel Tucker can do well at Colorado, because I hope he can. But
I think it would be a case study to see how many kids are leaving SEC schools to go out west.
Yeah, because if you look at their recruiting class, he talks about it. They are dipping into the southeast,
which not a lot of Western schools are doing, right?
And that's smart.
Yeah. That's the whole reason the Pac-10 tried to expand into Texas, is to get into Texas, right? And get that much closer to the honeypot of Texas, Florida, and everything in between. They don't have a presence there.
They don't have to just go to California, and then find everybody that's got Samoan heritage.
That's related to the Rock.
Jeez.
And seriously, Jesus,
Samoan players.
God, it's more racist things you said than vowels in their names. How many Pac-12 schools finished in the top 25? Set at 2.5. This is directly related to our last topic, which is why I was trying to...
Over, but only 3.
Okay. Jeff?
Over 4.
Ooh, wow.
Do you want to name the teams real quick? You had to guess final. Year 3, year 4.
Utah, Oregon, probably Washington.
Okay, so USC didn't finish there?
No.
Oregon, Washington, Stanford, Washington State.
Ooh, Washington State was what I was looking for.
See, you know what? I might switch Washington and Washington State.
You think Washington fall out?
Yeah.
Wow.
You left out Utah.
I know, I just don't have any faith.
Did you leave out Utah too?
No, I had Utah's first one. They'll finish 8.
How many field goals attempted from inside the 20 by Mac Brown this year? Set at 7.
Push. No. You didn't give me a half.
7.5. So 7.5 times this year inside the 20, he's going to go for a field goal.
I'll say under. That seems like a lot. I hope he doesn't.
I'm going to say under because I don't think they get to the red zone.
Yeah, it is. They're going to get in the red zone a total of 7 times and pick it every time.
Who's their quarterback going to be? Are they starting that freshman kid from here?
They are. I think they are, because they don't have anybody left. When Trubisky left, he left everybody, and they didn't have anything to succeed him right.
What about that Chaz whatever? Is he still there?
Chaz Morris?
No.
Oh, Miami. Was it the Miami quarterback?
That was...
How many jobs has Urban Meyer been rumored for by November? Set at
3.5.
And let's specify college jobs. So only people that are going to be big programs are going to suggest it.
You said by November?
Mm-hmm.
You said 3? I would say. I wish I could push there.
So let's just pick some teams that might be
Auburn.
Right. USC. Auburn.
They'll be ready to get rid of Gus Malzahn.
Brother, if Texas is having a rough season, Texas might be on that list.
You think that they'd be ready to get rid of Tom Herman?
Ooh, if he has a really poor year, absolutely. Penn State, maybe?
Yeah.
If Penn State has a rough year?
If things go south, which they could.
What about the ultimate heel turn? And if Michigan is having a rough year, do they try to kick Harbaugh and go for Urban Meyer and Ohio
they wouldn't.
From Ohio State?
What if they did? Would you rescind your
I would
fandom?
find a new team.
SMU welcomes you with open arms.
I'm trying to think what other major schools are going to have a possible hot seat coach.
Florida State.
Florida State.
If they want to try to buy out, it's a big buyout for both Malzahn and Auburn and.
But if Urban wants to get the fuck out of Ohio, Florida or California, man, his kids are all gone. He's a granddad. He can go where the fuck.
You don't think
he
you want to have fun and maybe do like another Utah type gig again?
He might.
Like, because Washington could be that if Washington fell apart.
Yeah. He's young too. He's only like 52 or 53. I mean, Notre Dame seems to be in a good place. But
but where's it? How old is his heart?
Him. Yeah.
That's the question.
Well, he keeps the team.
So,
can we talk about how UNC has a defensive back named Storm Duck?
Yes. Yeah, brother.
He's from here. His brother played for App.
So you're saying push?
Yeah.
So Jeff is push. Kyle?
3 is probably the right number, so push.
Damn, I'm too good at odds making, it turns out.
Well, I mean, it's also how many high-profile jobs are going to be
he's so
being
elite,
talked about.
He's not going to take.
He's not going to take a Virginia Tech.
No.
If Brian Fuentes is
you don't think even just the smallest amount of now that he's retired again, maybe he wants a low stakes job that he might get floated for.
Not him. He's the most driven dude.
He's got so much integrity.
I hope he goes to Utah State.
He's got a new coach. They brought Gary Anderson back, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, so it's a new old coach. Familiar faces.
What if Boise State comes open? You think
Actually, Harsin could be on the move.
Ooh, Boise State's an interesting one.
You would never take it.
I want him to replace Rolovich in Hawaii. And turn Hawaii into
true F you'd ever want.
Yeah.
Goes out to Hawaii.
I'm off.
Just because he wants vacation, he wants to go hang out with.
Can't afford to pay him.
And he just gets really excited because that every once in a while they'll schedule Army and you'll go all the way across the fucking country like they're doing this year.
they just want to go out there and hang out with Don Nelson and Woody Harrelson and smoke weed.
And Kerry Von Erich. I think he's out there.
Nice.
You had one for Urban Meyer, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a good follow-up. I'm going to set it at 6.5 days that Urban Meyer actually spends with his family.
On average per week.
No.
Just over the season?
Yeah.
I'll say over, but just barely.
Over.
Have I told you what my wife says every time Urban Meyer's on TV?
That doesn't she?
She says, God, I wish she spent more time with his family. Just because there was a game day sign years ago that just said Urban Meyer should spend more time with his family.
So he retired the first time.
Yeah.
And he said he was going to go spend time with his family.
And he went to Ohio State.
Yep, oops.
A month later.
Oops.
He's bullshit.
Oklahoma last year finished 84th in S&P Plus defensively. They have Alex Grinch as their new defensive coordinator.
Yep.
Over or under improving their final ranking by 34 points, which is basically to say, are they going to be a top 50 defense? S&P or under. So anything past 50.
I'm going to say under. I think that they'll be like a 6, high 50s, low 60s.
Gotcha.
He's the guy that rebuilt Washington State's defense, didn't he? Then he went to Ohio State and took like an assistant job for some reason.
Yeah. So Grinch is, I think, known for. I think he's known for being a blitz crazy dude.
He runs a weird formation, like a weird 3-3-5 or something.
Yeah, Alex
Which fits
Grinch,
them perfectly.
especially considering who they're playing, right? The nickel heavy packages. I think top 50.
Yep.
But it's going to be partially because of him. I think the other part is their offense is not going to be as explosive and passing the ball as much, so there's going to be less time for the defense to be out there.
That's a good call.
So I think by almost pure chance that they're on the ball
By default there.
Yeah, by having more time with an offense, they're allowing their defense to rest some more.
I'm trying to think of the biggest jump I've ever seen a defense make. I think it'll be under because they'll finish like 52nd. Like they'll be right on the cusp of like.
Well, they had that one I think last year
spots.
that Oklahoma State shot up, and Texas Tech might have been in the same breath for the first 6 weeks.
Yeah,
they were like top 40 out of nowhere after being like in the 80s, and then the rest of the season caught up with them and playing in the Big 12. Because that's what's costing it. It's not necessarily that the defense is bad; it's that they have incredible offenses in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
But that's starting to change a little bit, too, I think, with Texas Tech making a shift, Baylor becoming more of a Matt Rule-style offense. It's not going to be fun and gun. I like that one a lot. And games Georgia Tech wins this year. 2.5.
Well, they're playing. I just want to see who they're playing out of.
They're going to be interesting because Jeff Collins is like a really freaking good coach, apparently. Recruited really well, but is doing a system overhaul. Like
that's the thing. I mean, the guys that are already there, they haven't been used to that.
So we know they're going to play Georgia.
Yeah,
and that's a loss.
They open up at Clemson.
Ooh.
That's tough.
That's a tough way to start off.
God, should I set over under 10 points against Clemson?
Home against South Florida. I don't think that they win that.
No, South Florida will probably beat them.
Home against Citadel. There's one.
Yep.
Ooh.
At Temple.
Brother, are we sure the Citadel can't beat them?
I don't think that. I think that there's a chance that they
it's
could.
It's going to be like a 14-10 game. A shitfest.
At Temple, that's not.
I think they lose at Temple.
I don't think that's a great idea.
You know what? No, I take that back. I think they win at Temple because of Collins and him knowing him.
You're
that's
right.
only going to be the only reason.
Yep.
It's going to be the.
I don't see them winning another game the rest of the season. Home against UNC. I think that UNC takes them.
At Duke's a good opportunity.
At Duke's a good opportunity, but
Pitt is hot trash. There's a possibility.
Pitt is hot trash, but they also think that their fans think that the Coastal is probably the toughest division in college football because they won it last year. So
my argument for over 2.5 would be the entire roster is set up for a triple option, right? And how does that look when you're trying to change it
to a spread?
Right. But Temple always ran the ball well.
Yeah.
So at worst, they're going to be Iowa without the defense, I think, offensively.
I think that their best chance to do that is if they beat Citadel and then find a way to win 2 of the 3 games against UNC, Duke, or Pitt, because I don't think they're going to beat Temple on the road.
I'm going to go over because I think they'll win 3.
I'm going to go under. I think they're going to win 2.
They're going to find a way.
Some differences. Nice. I like this.
They're going to find a way to get a scratch one out somewhere.
I don't see it.
That could be trash, though.
I got one.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm done with the ones that I have written here. So
I'm going to put the over-under on 50.5. Point spread it takes for Nick Saban to not lose his mind on his team.
are you suggesting he loses his shit on his team when they're down by 4?
Yeah.
I'm saying that if they're up by 50.
Oh, got you. Okay, I misunderstood the question. So, at which point... No, there's not a number.
There's not a number?
There's not a number.
He does it all the time.
So over.
Yeah, that's literally his shtick, right? It's like they hammered someone last year.
He's like spiked his headset.
Yeah, and there was like a fumble on the snap or something like that, and he lost his shit on the sidelines because he's a perfectionist.
Yep.
It's why he's the best coach in college football and also got to be the worst person to play under. Like, not from a knowledge standpoint, you probably learn the world, but it would got to be tough.
You've heard the bit about the basketball deal he has going on there, right?
No.
So he organizes like basketball with like all the coaches and stuff like that. He
Does he just scream at them and that's
no. So he's always the point guard.
That's
And
the most Nick Saban shit.
oh no, this is even better. So their basketball coach is he still there? Avery Johnson.
he got fired.
He got fired. Well, when he came in, Nick Saban recruited him to be on his team after he saw him play, but would not let Avery Johnson be the point guard.
That's
He
great.
played point guard for like 15 years.
In the NBA. But Nick Saban
because he
didn't know
hated
who-
his voice.
No, I think it's because Nick Saban was gaming it so that they would always fucking win.
Not surprised.
Against his own coaches in rec basketball.
You got to assert dominance,
Ultimate
Kyle.
competitor.
It's
Such a fucking clown. Do you have any over-unders, Jeff?
Let's make one. Let's do one for Big Ten. In fact, you know what? Let me. I'm not going to pull it up. I'm just going to freestyle here. Over under 3 wins being the difference between the top of the Big Ten West to the bottom of the Big Ten West. You've got Illinois in the West, right? So
Over.
Over because Illinois is there.
Yeah.
so
And
let's
Indiana's there too. No, Indiana's
in the East. But let's remove Illinois. And you got Northwestern Nebraska, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Purdue, Iowa. Over under 3 games difference between all of them.
in the win column.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say under. I mean, last year it was 2.
I'm going to
say under
I
2.
think you're right. It's gonna be closer this year.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Push. 3. It's going to be 3 between the...
Over under 2 legitimate group of 5 teams being considered for the playoffs at the end of the season, near the end of the season. So you're going to have your normals, your Boise States, probably your UCFs.
I'm gonna say under.
I'm going to say under.
I think it's just gonna be UCF again.
They're not even in this list.
Phil Steele doesn't know shit.
And Milton is not even. He's like just walking now, so he's not gonna play this year.
No, but they got the transfer from Notre Dame.
Yeah, the guy who can't throw.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the situation. USF maybe, but I don't know. I don't have any promise in Max Strong.
Their fans really don't. Max Strong, Charlie Strong combined.
Charlie Mack and Max Strong.
Their fans I read online really don't like him. They feel like they're
Great
really
fullback,
tailing
Max
off. So
It's because they think he's going to do to them what he did at Texas. But the truth is that USF is where he belongs. Like USF,
That's the perfect
Louisville.
level.
It's the perfect fit.
Yeah.
There's another good one. Louisville this year under Satterfield over under being the higher number. Well, fuck that. Let me just word it differently. Do they have a top 80 offense this year?
Yes.
Being in the ACC, I say
The man
yes.
knows offense. It won't be great. It'll be like
It's-
58th or something, but they'll make it climb. Depends who their quarterback is. Their quarterback was trash last year.
It's still
Pass.
Still there is Jawan Pass.
Yeah.
Puma Pass.
But they had a run-heavy offensive app, so he'll probably just install that and heavy zone. Maybe run
I
base.
feel like that whole thing, they got to be less toxic just by him being there and not having Petrina,
Yeah.
right?
The players seem
I'm
like
going to say barely over.
All right, so let's do. We're at an hour here, hour 7. Let's knock out playoff predictions, and then let's finish with
Position U.
position U.
Cool.
And I'll let you do the answer to that once we get there.
Okay.
I'm going to do my playoff predictions pretty quick. I think it's going to be Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma, Georgia. I don't think it's going to sway, and it sucks.
Oh, it's going to be the same.
But I think it's probably seeded differently. Because Notre Dame made it last year.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it probably goes Clemson 1.
The year before. All over again.
God, that'd be so. See, hopefully it'll be Clemson 1, Oklahoma 4. I think that'd be a fucking blast. And then I think Alabama and Georgia 2 and 3. And I'm going to go ahead and say Alabama wins the championship. Roll Tide, I guess. Yeah. Disgusting.
Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State.
It sucks dick either way.
It really is shitty.
This is actually the worst exercise I've ever... I'm going to go jump out this one.
I'm glad we didn't finish with this, honestly.
I mean, I'm like right between both of you. I feel like we're gonna have a repeat of last year with Georgia somehow getting in at the last second.
I just don't trust Michigan to
No.
do it. I can see a Big Ten team doing it, but I just don't think it's going to be them.
And if Michigan beats Ohio State and gets over that, they're still not quite where they need to be to play against Alabama or Clemson.
Yeah,
They would
and
get skull
and
fucked
that's who they
up
play,
over
right? They're going to be the 4 seed almost no matter
They would
what.
get fucked up by either of those teams.
I mean, Notre Dame was not a bad team last year, and they got fucking demolished.
murdered.
Ohio State probably should have. Ohio State or Georgia. So.
Well, that's a bummer. Let's do playoff predictions, but only using a group of 5 teams. That'll make me feel better. So I'm gonna go ahead and say San Diego State. I'm gonna say UCF. I'm gonna go ahead and say that the American gets another one in there.
Is Memphis in the American?
Yeah, Memphis is gonna be
good.
Memphis is gonna be my.
No, they're in
pick.
UCFs.
And then for fun, let's just throw in.
Rutgers.
No, Rutgers might as well. They really should be, huh?
They don't deserve it.
I don't think I can think of another SC. You know what? Marshall. I'm going to put Marshall in there.
Okay, Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna say Boise.
Okay.
I'm gonna say UCF. I'm gonna say Houston.
Ooh.
Dana Holgers.
Dana.
Fuck, I forgot Houston.
And I'm going to say.
Say Tulane.
I will never say Tulane.
Really?
I don't want to say Tulane ever. That's a bad name. App State, just for you.
I can't believe no one said. I guess I don't know if they qualify or not, but Army would have been up there too for me.
What about
Yeah, sure.
UAB? Bill Clark.
God, I wish, but they're going to fall apart, I think.
You think so?
Yeah, brother. They were really heavy, I think. Top heavy on seniors.
Yeah.
I'd love it. UAB is my second team.
I love UAB. Just that story.
There's, if anyone's listening and wants to check out other podcasts, there's one done specifically about the UAB story and the entire destroying of the program and recreating of the program. And I can't remember the name of it. If you Google it, you'll be able to find it. But it's done well in telling the story. The guy that narrates it kind of is weird. He's kind of got a weird voice, weird cadence, and he's kind of all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
It's really neat. It's worth checking out, though. UAB's for life. All right. Kyle, tell us what the article you found.
All right. So ESPN did an article about position use. So what schools put out the best talent.
Make sure Jeff can't see your list over here. He's fucking cheating.
Yeah, fuck you, Jeff. I know what you do.
Typical Jeff.
Asshole. So yeah, they put out a list to see what schools put out the best talent per position historically.
So like LB linebacker U was it Penn
It
State?
had to be.
It used to be. I think it's more that they're looking at kind of
Current,
taking more
like
into
2000s?
like more recent, like the last 20 years.
1980s.
Our generation.
For the Big
Yeah.
Ten.
Yes.
Yeah, but Sean,
My generation, much like Limp Bizkit.
God. Talking about 90s.
That's going to be the interest of our every episode of the Run Pod option is going to be my generation.
Oh, God. I hate you. So we're going to start off with QB. So this is 1 through 10.
Oh, so they listed 10 schools.
They
under
listed
it.
10 schools, and they listed. I'll give you notable players once you. Do you want to?
Can we just
So
guess who's
how
in
about
the
we
top
just
10?
we'll get 3 guesses each, if you want, and that way we try to get at least
6.
Six.
yeah,
of the teams.
and we're not taking turns. We just go. So USC.
Okay. Yes, USC was number 1
It's
with
the only list I saw.
Carson Palmer, Matt Leinart, Mark Sanchez, Sam Darnold. They said were the notable
I can't
players.
believe they included Sanchez and Darnold.
No David Booty.
And
No Carson. Oh, there was Carson Palmer.
That's right there. Pretty. Where's Matt Leinart? Did you say Matt Leinart?
Yeah.
They don't have Clemson in there, do they? In their top 10?
Clemson is not in the top 10.
No, it's
It's
surprising.
getting close, though.
How about the University of Texas?
Texas is 4. They listed Major Applewhite, Chris Sims, Vince Young, and Colt
Major
McCoy.
Applewhite's
Oh, if that's the case,
blessing.
then Oklahoma's in there.
Oklahoma's 2 with Jason White, Sam Bradford, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray.
Damn, that's a hell of a...
Really is Auburn.
Auburn 7 with Jason Campbell, Cam Newton, Nick Marshall, Jarrett Stidham.
Don't ever forget Jay.
What the fuck?
It didn't even count yet. I don't think
Sucks.
it's not fair. Ohio State.
Ohio State is 10.
What? I thought they were.
I thought that they should have been higher. Craig Krenzel
That's bullshit. That was...
Troy Smith, Terrell Pryor, JT Barrett, Dwayne
I'm
Haskins.
just glad they didn't say Herb Street just to fucking peeve them off.
that was 5. We got one more.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of smaller schools potentially. Southern Miss. That's where Brett Favre came from.
40 years ago.
There's another one too that came from there. Patrick Ramsey was Tulane. Damn it.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna stay with that. I'm gonna stay with Southern Miss there.
You're
Florida.
missing some big one. There's one. Number 8.
Florida?
Yeah, Jesse Palmer. Rex Grossman, Chris Lee, Tim Tebow.
Chris Lee's an excellent quarterback.
Chris Lee is an excellent quarterback.
Who did we miss in the top 10?
Let's see. You missed number 3, Oregon, with A.J. Feely, Joey Harrington, Marcus Mariota, Justin Herbert.
I forgot.
And
Harrington was a Heisman finalist.
They didn't even put in Dennis Dixon. And
Yeah, God, he was the best.
Rest in peace, his
Great.
ACLs.
Really, he would have been the Heisman winner.
5.
Shredded us that year.
5,
Michigan.
Florida State. Chris Winkie, Christian Ponder, who was an excellent NFL quarterback. E.J. Manuel, Jameis Winston.
I forget E.J. Manuel existed.
He's an
6.
ACC network analyst now.
6, Louisville. Chris Redmond, Brian Brom, Teddy Bridgewater, Lamar Jackson.
Brian Brom.
They're
going deep on some of these.
And number 9 was A&M with Gerard Johnson,
That's
Ryan Tannehill, Johnny Manziel, Kellen Mond.
I remember Jerron Johnson. He was like 6'6", 250. I remember playing them on NCAA.
Was he in the backfield when Jaworski Lane was there too? Like they had just like the all size, the all size.
And then Hillis. Wasn't Peyton Hillis there?
No, Peyton Hillis was Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Because he was there with McFadden and
Felix Jones.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And they never won more
Remember
than
that was the
16.
team. That was the team that you had.
Yeah, I ran triple option with them in NCAA 05. Fucking ran, dude. Yeah, it was so
back
great.
when stupid Kevin was Michigan.
Yeah. Oh,
and
God.
Geraldo Rivera was the worst Notre Dame quarterback ever. Our buddy's brother made a quarterback and put him on Notre Dame. He was 7'9", named him Geraldo Rivera. We were playing it. And that was
99 everything. We didn't know he was in the safe.
Yeah, so we're playing this season, like a big community season. There's 4 of us playing, and I think Kevin was playing Michigan, or I was playing Notre Dame, and we were thinking about it. We were like, hey, Brady Quinn doesn't wear number 5.
And then why is your quarterback returning kickoffs?
And why is he kicking field goals? And why is it every time he gets hit, he's falling forward 5 yards?
Yeah,
and then we looked at the roster, this giant dude named Geraldo Rivera.
Was it a 7'9" on the screen?
I think it was 6'11", might have been the
6'10",
biggest you could
yeah.
go.
Yeah, whatever. He was
But it was
tallest dude.
insane. It
Yeah.
was bad shit.
It's just,
He still won. He still beat Notre Dame because he's a cheese dick. NCAA football.
and all he did was throw to the fullback.
It was fucking awful. It was awful.
Hated playing him.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, running back.
Ooh.
Running back, you.
Alabama.
Numero uno. Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry, Sean Alexander is who they pull out for that.
Auburn.
Cadillac and
Cadillac carry on. Couldn't carry on.
Auburn was 10.
Oh, barely.
Cadillac, Ronnie Brown, Trey Mason they threw out there for it.
is Oklahoma in here?
Oklahoma's 4. Adrian Peterson, DeMarco Murray, Samaje Perine.
When we were freshmen in football, we had to play McKinney High School in a scrimmage, and we were a brand new high school, right? Their running back, and I forget his name, was signed to Oklahoma and got buried by AP when he came in. And he ripped us a new asshole as all of us freshmen were trying to tackle this fucking all-state running back. All right, continue, sorry.
So we got 3.
Yeah, 3 so far.
So that's my 3 guesses, I guess.
Ohio State?
Ohio State
I wouldn't even thought. That's a good guess.
is not.
Ooh.
Who else are we missing?
They just come out running quarterbacks.
Georgia.
Is not.
All those backs they had.
Without no Sean Marino.
LSU?
3. Leonard Fournette, Kevin Falk, Jacob Hester.
Yeah, how did I have Georgia with Marino,
Chubb.
Michelle, Chubb? Who's the last dude?
Because ESPN's fucked. Bill Connolly sold us out for this.
Damn it, Bill. That was our 6. Who we missing?
Number 2, Wisconsin.
Fuck, that's too easy.
Ron Dane, Melvin Gordon, Monte Ball.
I forget the early 2000s.
Yeah, man.
They don't have Stanford on there, do they?
No. 5, Miami, Frank Gore, Willis McGahee, Edgerrin James.
Yeah. Folks. They were all on the same
Frank
team.
Gore's
Duke
out,
Johnson.
They were all on the same team.
Yeah. Duke Johnson, though. Yeah, he was good.
He was good in college.
Why are you so high on Duke Johnson, man?
This is a dude that was good. 6, Pittsburgh, James Conner, LaShawn McCoy, Deion Lewis.
That was good.
God, I hate
7, Texas, Ricky Williams. Here's a name I haven't heard in a while. Cedric Benson,
Ooh.
Jamal Charles.
Cedric Benson. What happened to him in the NFL? Was
He was pretty good with the Bears, but it was part
Didn't
of,
they put the Bengals at one point, too?
he did, but that was after Forte replaced him, but Benson ran 2-back set with Benson and another guy, and I want to say they're actually pretty good. He helped lose with Rex Grossman when they went to the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
I'm almost positive on that.
I think he might have, yeah.
Forte might have been his second, honestly.
8, Oregon, Michael James,
The
Jonathan
Michael.
Stewart, LeGarrette Blunt.
The Garrett Blunt.
And you really should have gotten number 9, Arkansas, Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, Peyton Hillis.
We just talked about it. Fucking
Same team.
We actually just talked about the 3 guys.
living on one class. This is so wild.
Okay, receiver U.
USC.
USC is number 1. They go Juju Smith-Schuster,
Mike Williams.
Mike Williams.
Steve Smith.
They didn't have Marquise Lee, Dwayne Jarrett.
Yeah, they've had a ton.
Michigan.
Michigan is on here, and it was really questionable who they put in there for their receivers.
Braylon Edwards.
They put Braylon Edwards, David Terrell, and Devin Funches. I thought they really missed out on Mario Manningham.
Terrell was good.
Yeah, but they could have thrown
Manningham was a pretty big player in the NFL, at least.
Yeah.
Let's go with Clemson.
Clemson is not.
That hurts.
Is Bama on there?
Bama is 9 with Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, and Jerry Judy.
I'm going to say Marshall only because of Randy Moss.
Not on there.
That'd be worth
it's
it.
a bad
So,
guess.
hold on. It was Tennessee. Was it Tennessee Martin that either T.O. or Jerry Rice played at? I can't.
Was that a Martin?
Yeah, it was.
No. T.O. was on Chattanooga.
T.O. was Chattanooga. Jerry Rice was Martin. I think.
No, Jerry.
It doesn't
I
really-
forgot where Jerry Rice went. It was a small school, though.
All right, so I'm gonna
rescind your.
I'm gonna take off Marshall.
Your Marshall.
and I'm gonna instead say. I made this guess last time we talked about it, and you said it wasn't on, so I can't make it. Ohio State.
Ohio State's 2. Michael Thomas, Teddy Ginn Jr., David Boston.
It's such a weird gap.
It really,
between some of
yeah.
these guys.
What have you guessed so far?
I did USC and
You did Alabama.
Bama. We each have one more.
I had used all 3 of mine, I think.
Oh, you can use mine this one.
Florida Gators.
They're number 7. Percy Harvin, Andre Caldwell, Antonio Callaway. There's probably people that they're missing in there.
Yeah. Harvard was a big one for me. That's what I figured.
Who did miss?
So 3, Florida State, Calvin Benjamin, Rashad Green, Peter Warwick. There's
Warwick.
probably a bunch of other ones in there that we're missing right now.
Yeah.
We are followed by Jaquez Green, former Florida State receiver, I believe.
I think it's Florida.
I think he's Florida State.
Yeah.
He doesn't listen.
And he's
I
got
hope.
promoted. He got promoted. He's like an offensive coordinator at some big school.
Yeah, he's a college
Shout out.
or a high school coach. It's done pretty good for himself.
What up, Jacqueline Green?
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot what college you went to. I love you.
Gosh, yours great though. I promise.
4, Ohio State. No, 4, Oklahoma State.
Ooh.
James Washington, Justin Blackman, Des Bryant.
Justin Black.
It was Florida.
Forgot about Justin
Love
Black.
me. I knew where you went, Jacquez Green. Marty's a faker.
I think it was Quezzy.
5, LSU.
Oh, God.
OBJ, Michael Clayton, Jarvis Landry.
Is it because they never did anything in college?
I think
Because
so.
they're all
The same
conversation?
team together. That's the scary part.
Oh, yeah. 6, Oklahoma, Marquise Brown, Ryan Broyles, Jalen Saunders, Sterling Shepard.
Yeah.
And we got Florida, we got Michigan, we got Alabama, and 10, Notre Dame, Golden Tate, Will Fuller, Michael Floyd.
Let's skip tight ends. Let's skip offensive linemen. And let's, what other categories are there?
There
In the
are
interest of time.
DBU.
Let's do DB linebackers, and do they have just defensive line you, or do they have... Okay, that's a 3. Let's do
Let's
it.
do that.
He has a DBU and started off at DBU.
Michigan State.
Michigan State. Michigan State is not on the list.
What? Are you kidding me? That's all they produce, these fucking cornerbacks. At least the way they cover the Big Ten, you'd think so. Those motherfuckers are stingy. Fuck.
LSU.
LSU's 2.
Bullshit.
Patrick
Let me
Peterson,
step into that
Honey
trap.
Badger, Jamal Adams.
I got a bunch.
Yeah,
Alabama, then I guess.
Alabama's 3. Minka Fitzpatrick, Mark Barron, HaHa Clinton Dix.
USC.
USC is
Troy
7.
Polamalu.
Adoree Jackson, Taylor Mays, Troy Polamalu.
About Miami.
God, Taylor Mays was a fucking train of a safety.
He's playing good.
Miami is 8. Kenny Phillips, Brandon Merriweather, Sean Taylor.
That's a good one.
Who's number 1?
I wonder if LSU was number 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be Ohio State is number 1.
Ohio State is number 1 with Marshawn Lattimore, Denzel Ward, Eli Apple, Malcolm Jenkins. It's
Yeah, they put a shitload of...
Yeah.
Are there any small brand teams on that list?
No.
That's a bummer. Then I guess I'll pick recently. I'm going to say Washington.
Yep.
Florida State?
Florida State is 5. Jalen Ramsey, Derwin James, Myron Roll.
I'm an idiot. This was my idea to do this podcast. I'm a fucking idiot. All right, who do you miss?
6. Texas, Kenny Vaccaro, Earl Thomas, Quentin Jammer. 8. Miami. Oh, you did Miami.
Quentin Jammer.
9. Virginia Tech, Kyle Fuller, Cam Chancellor, D'Angelo
Aren't all the Fuller brothers?
Virginia Tech, I wouldn't say...
Fuller,
Yes.
and Fuller?
Yeah. 10. Oklahoma, Roy Williams, Andre Wilford, Zach Sanchez.
What?
Names
It's just like Arkansas is the Dick family, because they had every Allen High School quarterback with the last name Dick.
defensive line you.
Clemson.
2. Gaines Adams, there's a name.
Ooh.
Philip
Did he die?
Merling.
Did he die?
I don't know, maybe he did. I think he did.
That's not the games you're looking for, pal.
Philip Merling, Ricky Sapp, Daquan Bowers, Jarvis Jenkins,
These guys.
Andre Branch, Grady Jarrett, who just got paid, Vic Beasley, Shaq Lawson, Kevin Dodd, Dexter Lawrence, Christian Wilkins.
God, are we in love with Clemson? much?
Yeah, no,
ESPN? Holy
these
fuck.
ones, they
Clemson
list
blog?
players. They list a lot of players for defensive line.
Bill Connolly.
I guess you have to, right? Because you're doing your internal...
Yeah, you're doing
internal
like everybody.
All right, so we got Clemson.
Miami's got to be in there then.
No.
Where did Simeon Rice go to school?
Florida State.
You just guessed Florida State, though, right?
Miami.
Florida State.
Number 5. He's not on there though. He's not on there because he was back in the 90s. He was way back.
Oh, this is counting.
This is probably. I mean, there's been people that have been.
I mean, you didn't say
questionable.
Deion Sanders when we said Florida State. So.
So it's Corey Simon, Jamal Reynolds, Darnell Dockett, Travis Johnson, Broderick Bunkley, Everett Brown. There's a name.
Dockett.
Tank Carradine, Timmy Jernigan, Bjorn Werner, Eddie Goldman, Mario Edwards Jr., DeMarcus Walker, Brian Burns, who just came out.
We had a dream when we thought of this podcast of us just talking about old players we remember. And just scratching that itch so much that I do think during an hour lunch we can jam out some small episodes just remembering some guys.
Yeah.
I'm here for it if you guys are.
I'd be totally down for that.
Okay.
You got 2 so far, right?
Yeah, I guessed
3.
Florida State and I
Who
guessed
gets
Clemson.
Miami?
He guessed Miami.
Miami.
You guess Miami.
Don't put that juju on me.
USC on there?
Defensive line?
9. Number 9. Kenichi Odizzi. Sean Cody. Ooh. Mike Patterson. Frosty
Williams.
Rucker. Lawrence Jackson. Cedric Ellis. Everson Griffin. And Leonard Williams.
A lot of interior players.
These all big name schools again?
Yes.
I was hoping to get Memphis in there maybe with what's his face, the fucking Hoss.
Terry Powell.
Yeah.
Do we have Ohio State? Because they're on there.
Louisville.
Louisville is not in there. Ohio State is number 6.
That's a no-brainer.
Mike Vrabel. Ryan Pickett. Will Smith.
But we're including Mike Vrabel? If we're not including Simeon Rice?
Vrabel.
He might have been an early 2000s guy.
Will Smith. There's a name. Cam Hayward.
Yep.
Jonathan Hankins. Adolphus
Didn't
Washington.
Will Smith die? He got shot.
Yeah, he got killed.
Yeah, he got
He
killed.
did. Joey Bosa. Sam Hubbard.
R.I.P. Will.
Bosa.
Yeah, there's another Bosa in there. Draymond Jones, Chase Young, Taquan Lewis.
So these guys are current players. Chase Young's still there.
They've included some current players.
I think I've made all my guesses. honestly. But I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways and say Texas A&M. Texas.
Texas is in there.
It's a no-brainer. Right?
Texas was number
Ford.
7.
Is Derek Loki on that list?
No, he's not. Texas at number 7 was Sean Rogers. Jesus.
Wow.
Used to always
Old
get
Lion.
him. What?
The old Lion?
Yeah. Casey Hampton, Corey Redding,
Another Lion.
Oh yeah, Marcus Tubbs, Tim Crowder, Brian Arakpo, Lamar Houston, Malcolm Brown.
Not as many recent studs. Other than Puna Ford.
It's because you're getting...
I just love his name. Puna.
Say it slower.
All right, do we want to go over the rest of them?
He needs to play with Chuba.
Chuba Purdy.
Nathan Puna.
Did no one say Alabama?
Nobody said Alabama. They're number 1.
Yeah, Alabama.
Yeah,
Cornelius
factory.
Griffin, Antoine Odom, Terrence Cody,
Yep.
Marcel Darius,
Not
Sean
Cody.
Robinson, no Cody, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Deshaun Hand, Quinnen Williams.
Did we say LSU?
You did not. They're number 4.
And low engine Glenn Dorsey?
He's in there.
Is he still in the league?
No way.
No.
because he got drafted by the Chiefs, and then they moved to a 3-4 immediately, and he never got.
You'll love this list for LSU. Booger McFarland, Marcus Spears, Kyle Williams, Glenn Dorsey, Tyson Jackson, Arden Key, Michael Brockers, Benny Logan.
I think Troy could be up there purely on DeMarcus Ware. For what
Just
it's
on
worth.
him. 3 was Penn State.
Yeah.
Courtney Brown, Anthony Adams, Michael Haynes, Jimmy Kennedy, Tamba Hali, Aaron Maben, Jared Odrick, Devin Still, Carl Nassib, and Austin Johnson.
I feel like I don't recognize half those names.
Really?
Yeah,
Because they were really big, like, regional players.
Yeah, I just...
8, Florida. Javon Curse, Gerard Warren, Jarvis Moss, Derek Henry, Carlos Dunlap,
Jarvis Moss.
Sharif Floyd, Dominic Easley, Taven Bryan, and Ja'Kai Polite.
Do you... Out of those top 10, how many aren't SEC? 4?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Only 4 SEC teams.
And the last one is number 10, Tennessee. Darwin Walker, Sean Ellis, Albert Hainsworth, John Henderson, Justin Harrell, Dan Williams, Derek Barnett.
Hainsworth.
I remember playing.
He feels like a Tennessee
playing
player.
Madden
John
when
Henderson
the
too.
Jags had. Didn't they have Henderson and
Henderson
Hainsworth
and
next to each
Stroud.
other? Henderson and Stroud.
Henderson and Stroud.
They were monsters.
Yeah, that was fun. Linebacker U, this is the last one we're ending with.
Okay. I thought we missed it for some reason because I was like, damn, we never did. I'm going to go ahead and say legacy still Penn State.
Penn State is 5. LeVar Arrington, Paul Posluszny, Dan Connor.
Paul Posluszny, but they're not going to include Sean Lee. Sean Lee was Penn State, right? Am I high?
Sean Lee was Penn State.
Yeah, he was right after Posluszny.
Yeah, he was like their most recent
Then Posluszny got cancer, right?
white linebacker stud.
Was there another white linebacker that got cancer?
That was Mark Hertzler from BC.
No, this is 10 years ago.
No, Posluszny just retired last year from
Yeah, from Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
He was part of our defense.
Devin Still.
Okay.
Nope, that was his mom that had cancer. I don't know who. Mark Herzlich, that's what you just said.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Well, fuck me, I guess.
Um,
Yeah, what's up with Pennsylvania that everybody just gets cancer up there? Just kidding, have you visited?
Awful.
I was just born there.
Were you really? Well,
Pittsburgh.
I would say you're not a cancer to this program. You're the exact opposite, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I was stopped
I'm
from
a cancer.
saying probably 5 when you said, is he dead? Every time I had to stop from saying anything. All right, Penn State we got. Who do you got, Jeff?
Ohio State.
State is 3. AJ Hawk, Andy Katzenmoyer, James Laurinaitis.
You said there are 3?
They were 3.
So we have 5, we have 3. Georgia.
1. Justin Houston, Al Ogletree, Roquan Smith.
Raekwon Smith.
Raekwon Smith.
Raekwon's cousin.
Are they leaving out David
Pollock.
David Pollock? I remember thinking he was going to be so
I
good.
thought he was a defensive end, so
Was he? I thought he was a
I think
linebacker.
he played end in college.
He did get cancer. No, he just is.
And now
Let's make an all-cancer team, and I bet it's not that bad.
no.
I mean, not while they have cancer, they'd be bad, but like...
That's awful.
All right.
Jeff, who you got for your second pick?
Miami, got to be on there.
Yeah.
Dan Morgan, Jonathan Vilma.
Miami's not on there.
This is an outrage.
That is an outrage.
That's the biggest
DJ
slide.
Williams is on
That's the
there.
biggest
They had a
slide of
bunch.
this entire
Yeah.
Um,
Dan Morgan. Jesus.
wow, how did they not get
Oh, we missed.
linebackers? I'm going to go ahead and say it's not going to be there, but Oklahoma.
6.
Fuck off.
Curtis Lofton, Teddy Lehman, Rocky Calmus.
Rocky Calmus is what I was looking for. Teddy Lehman.
Teddy Lehman. Rocking that number 5 in the middle. Or was it 11?
It was, I don't know.
I think it was 11.
It was bad. I'm just happy to hear Rocky Calmus' name one more time.
Linebackers.
Did you say USC yet?
Nope.
USC.
4. Ray Malaluga.
They had a
Clay Matthews, Chris Claiborne. That's what they have listed.
I feel like they skipped on this one. There's so many guys.
Yeah, they could have. There's probably more.
After giving us
like
45 linemen.
after giving us a fucking
You're missing a pretty big one at 2.
we haven't said Bama, but
There you go.
I feel like we should just remove Bama and then guess the other teams because you could put them on
Alabama,
any
C.J. Mosley, Ronaldo McClain, Donta Hightower.
Yeah.
There's not a Florida State on there.
What's his face? He got his house burned down and played for the Cowboys.
that
Ragonk.
Red,
Yeah, it was
Ronaldo
Ronaldo.
McClain.
Ragonk.
Ragonk. Florida State is 8. Ernie Sims, Lawrence Timmons, Tommy Polly. Ernie Sims, I used to love him.
Lawrence Simmons was the guy that went crazy and retired.
How about Virginia Tech?
Not on there, surprisingly.
Hmm.
Would have thought that Xavier Deavy alone would have been.
Well, and they were just not unlike TCU
Yeah.
and Missouri for a touch, producing nothing but linebackers that could
The
rush the
defensive
passer.
backs.
Yeah.
That was, Missouri. Shane Ray.
Michael Sam. That was Kyle's favorite player, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I remember him watching the draft.
He still has it recorded. It's his, somehow it's his ringtone.
Weird. I have a save for whenever anybody calls. It's a gift.
It's a gif of Michael Sam kissing his boyfriend, which we support, by the way. This is all a joke.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Do you want me to just name
Yes,
off
go
the
ahead.
last 3?
Who did we miss?
Yeah, let's get
7, UCLA, with Robert Thomas, Anthony Barr, Miles Jack.
That'll hurt you.
I think that Miami's the biggest slight so far, easily. 9, Michigan, Devin Bush, Lamar Woodley, Larry Foote.
What a joke.
It's just a weird gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, to have Devin Bush and then Larry Foote
10 years.
and then,
I also have an issue with number 10, Florida, because they listed Javon Curse on this one, too. So I guess he played both defensive end and linebacker.
yeah, that's
That's a little shiesty.
Who wrote this? I'm
Brandon
gonna send a letter.
Spikes, Gerard Davis.
Fair.
probably Phil Steele.
Fuck this.
Probably was Phil Steele.
Does that wrap it up?
Wraps it up, unless you want to do offensive linemen.
No, my stomach hurts because I'm hungry and it's getting late.
Okay.
We are going to come back in 2 weeks and do a little bit more of a actual
Prediction.
season preview.
Yeah.
A
Volcano
little bit more.
Museum session.
We're going to be. I think we're 3 weeks away, right? From
Teams report next week.
That's insane. And no holdouts in college because they don't get paid, which is unfortunate. So we will talk to you guys soon. The Sports Trebuchet episodes are still going to be coming out on the alternating weeks. For Jeff, for Kyle, and I'm Marty. Thank you guys for listening and have a good rest of the day.